I'm reading this. Someone asked us, how did you find out that you're interested in being a sex educator? And said they're really intrigued by a lot of the social studies and human behaviors, but they're not really sure what aspects of it intrigue them most or how to go about being a sex educator. And they were wondering if we had any advice.
Well, I'm in it for the money. Because sex education is where the money's at. Screw investment banking and all that stuff. Here, everyone. Here, a YouTube channel. Cha-ching!
He's being sarcastic in case you didn't know. This is Reid from ReidAboutSex.com.
That's right, I'm greedy. Greed is good. This is Cathy from the Intimacy Dojo. Cathy Vartuli of the Intimacy Dojo.
Thank you. It's good to know you remember my name.
This is true. I felt I didn't really give you a good...
Well, you spelled it wrong the other day.
I did. I'm very creative.
So, for me, I found out a lot about it from Reid.
Yeah, blame me. I'm the scapegoat.
I've been doing life coaching for a while, but I was not dating, and I wanted to, and I was kind of scared of sex, and I was really scared of sex. And so I reached out to Reid for advice, and I was so amazed that there's so much information, and we're just not taught that it even exists to ask about it. Like, I'm a research scientist, and I didn't know how much is just readily available out there. And I wanted to help make it accessible to people, because people who are scared or overwhelmed. So that was my niche, so to speak, to work with people that are kind of overwhelmed or scared, to feel comfortable to explore.
And you were already doing, outside of being somebody who has 19 patents to your name, in another field, like, you were already helping people feel more empowered.
Yeah.
And then I just probably contaminated you.
Exactly.
And made you realize that, I can talk about sex too in new ways. So thank you for that. That's a really sweet acknowledgement. So for me, and you'll find this online and a lot of other places, because I do try to talk about my past. Most of my X-Men origin story is that my mom and dad loved each other very much and couldn't communicate at all, and work through their upsets, and it really fucked up their marriage. So they ended up, my mom became an alcoholic, my dad became a workaholic, thinking money would fix everything, and they eventually lost everything and lived in their van for several years. So I just didn't want to be like my parents. That's one part of the story. And because, we talk to a lot of other sex educators, especially ones that are just starting out, I was a comic book artist and a bartender and an actor and a film producer, like all these things before. My friends actually pulled me aside and said, you need to charge money for your relationship advice. And what was happening was, unconsciously, I was learning all these tools so that I didn't have to be like my mom and dad. And I had ended up amassing a lot of information.
And putting it together in a really pragmatic and fun way.
Yeah. Well, now, but back then I was still kind of wobbly, but I was still giving really great tools and resources, and I was really passionate about people not having to go through what I grew up around. And as far as, when I talk to a lot of people all over the United States and in Canada, and people from all over the world, most of us know somebody, if it wasn't us, who grew up in a fucked up family. And when you really start looking at it, so much of it is about, lack of communication skills, bad cultural and social role modeling, lot of fear and shame. Yeah. And so things just get really warped. And the tools that I want to share with people, and why I'm so passionate, and you are too, about encouraging sex educators, or people who want to help people around relationships and intimacy and sex, to be better at the business of it, so that we can all make a living. Because you can make a living. I just don't, if you want to make a lot of money quick, don't do it here. It's hard to do it here. I'm all I'm going to say.
Yeah. Well, I'm a full-time engineer and do this as well because I'm passionate about it, and I love engineering too. But it can be a challenge to make a good living in that. But it's really important that people speak about this and teach about it. You're giving people reconnection with their body and pleasure back. It's like they lost it. And helping them find that is priceless.
And so I'm going to say, if you're watching this video right now, whatever your interests are, you may have several over your lifetime. Yeah. So people who thought I was flaky because I was an artist, then I was an actor, then I was this, then I was that. Like, and who knows? 10 years from now, I might not be a sex educator.
You might be an investment banker.
Yeah.
Or a sex therapist.
Or sex therapist, investment banker. Whatever you're passionate about, please follow that in some way that makes sense to you. And also, if what you are passionate about just happens to be an area of life where there's a lot of shame and anxiety and confusion, sex just happens to be my niche, right?
There's plenty of shame out there.
Yeah, and it could be money. It could be, helping people transition around death, or like whatever those, like death, money, religion, like sex, like cultures, at least American culture's kind of fucked up about these things. If that's where your area of passion is, please follow it, because we need more people out there helping relieve the shame and the silence and the warpedness in society. And if it happens to be sex education or relationship education or something like that, and there's anything that I can do to help or Cathy can do to help, check out our resources. SexGeekSummerCamp.com is a really great resource. There's a lot of different things that I'm creating now and Cathy's also creating to help around businessy stuff. But again, I just want to say thank you for the question. Yeah. And also, if you're interested in sex education now, but 10 years from now you want to go be a comic book artist, that's okay too. Whatever that is, follow your passions, please. I think that makes for a better world than you beating yourself up for not being drawn to do, whatever that is.
Yeah, just explore and figure out what works right for you.
What are you passionate about?
Yeah.
Leave it in the comments below.